If you travel, you probably either heard about it or you've seen it yourself. Airport meltdowns and bad behavior on airplanes seem to be making headlines more than ever. Now, there are calls for a reset on civility in air travel. But what if the real issue isn't manners, but self-control? Joining us now is Brandon Blewett, author of How to Avoid Strangers on Airplanes. Thanks for being here, Brandon.
Thanks for having me.
Well, so I want to start here. Why do airports seem to bring out the worst in people?
I think it's because it's forced interaction with complete strangers. And today we're so used to being isolated in our phones, and the airport and airplanes sort of turn that all upside down on its head.
And so you've identified 6 habits of highly annoying travelers. I mean, I probably could have like a list of 100 annoying habits that I see people do. What's the one that almost everyone is guilty of?
I think that if I had to pick one, I would say it's the backpack wrecking crew. So think you've got your backpack, it's affixed to your back, and someone in the aisle is, rearranging their bags in the overhead, and you decide to shift like this to get around them, not realizing that you've got a weapon on your back that's going to give the person in the aisle seat a black eye. That one always, without fail, is on every single flight.
Yeah, and I've felt that all the time because I am an aisle type of person. I like being able to get up and stretch my legs. I'm 6'3". You can't really tell on our set because I'm sitting right now, but 6'3". I always am on the aisle, and I always pretty much board close to the beginning, and so you end up getting people hitting you. What are some of the other habits?
I'd say the conference call desk bully. We've all been around the person that is on their phone and they are taking a work call, and even if they're sitting in row 5, you can hear them back in row 36. You can maybe even send them a PowerPoint with talking points for their next meeting and the follow-ups they need to take with them. And then I think one that we can all agree is just a major nuisance is what I call the eager exiter. And this is the person that, look, I get it. The seatbelt sign goes off. You want to get up in the aisle or stand up and stretch your legs. Just don't put your luggage in the aisle if you're in row 17, because there's always going to be folks in rows 11 and 12 that need to get their bags, and all you're doing is delaying the deplaning process.
And what's funny for internationally when you travel out of the country, it depends on the culture, because you do have people who do that in other countries. I don't see it as much here, but you do see it. But in other countries, it's absolutely wild how everyone's rushing to the exit door, and we haven't even put the jet bridge on yet.
Right.
Are these behaviors failures of self-regulation for people realizing they're among other people and it's not all about them?
I think that's exactly what it is. And I think part of it's we get so sucked into our phones and our laptops, and we're just not thinking about the fact that, hey, you're not the only person that's on this flight that maybe has a connection or needs to get somebody else. Mm-hmm. Put the phone down for a little bit, look around and see there's hundreds of people on this plane. Everybody needs to get off the plane, whether it's to make a meeting or to make a connecting flight. Let's think about doing this in an orderly fashion as a group, as opposed to just, I need to be the person that's going to win this race.
And so you kind of connect fitness and patience with civility and all of that. How does that make someone a better traveler?
I'm going to get really scientific and quote Elle Woods from Legally Blonde when she says that exercise gives you endorphins, endorphins make you happy, and happy people don't kill their husbands. Now, obviously, we don't have to worry about the murder part here, but I think a lot of these behaviors where people go viral, if you're active and you're going to reset your mood, and that's going to make the experience more enjoyable for yourself, and then just by default for the other people around you.
But is it really that simple?
I think that for me, what is very key is not only exercise, but make sure you get sleep the night before you have a flight. That's going to make you a little less cranky. And then ultimately for me, I need to make sure that I'm nourished, that I eat, because to me, if I'm well slept, you've exercised, and most importantly, my blood sugar levels are normal, then I'm going to be far more tolerant of other behaviors. And I'm actually going to be willing to laugh off a lot of the things that I see in the airport.
Okay. And so for viewers traveling soon, people who are joining us here on Fox 5 News Live at 1 o'clock, what are some simple habits that people could do to be able to not become part of the problem or a problem?
I I think what I did in writing the book was you kind of hold up a mirror, right? You say, hey, these are the things that I see that bother me. Maybe I should be the first one not to commit them. And then I think from there, view it as really good people watching. I feel like that's what we used to do with air travel, was we viewed it almost like you were going to just see an entertaining show. And I think if you shift your mindset back to that, it makes the whole process a bit more tolerable.
Brandon, I really appreciate your time this afternoon. Very insightful. I mean, we see this all the time. We see the videos. I have friends who work in air travel, and it's just absolutely mind-blowing to see what people do on airplanes and to hear the stories about what people think is acceptable and how you can treat other people. It's super mind-blowing. I think the book is probably a very interesting read, and I think people should take a look at that. Brandon, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.